Assalamu alaikum and good evening. You are watching HumSub.TV and I am Muneeb Hamid with the news.
No alliance with United States anymore, says Khwaja Asif. A day after the United States announced the suspension of all security aid to Pakistan, Foreign Minister Khwaja Asif said Islamabad's alliance with Washington is over. The administration of President Donald Trump has said that security assistance was on hold until the Pakistani government takes decisive action against groups including the Afghan Taliban and the Haqqani network. The bilateral ties between the former allies in the war on terror has witnessed a dramatic decline in the recent past, especially after President Trump targeted Pakistan in a tweet last week, saying the country had given the US nothing but lies and deceit. However, even before the highly provocative tweet, the two nations had rocky relations to say the least, lacking trust ever since the 9/11 attacks in 2001. The US accuses Pakistan of harboring militants who it claims kill American soldiers in Afghanistan, while Islamabad says Washington does not adequately acknowledge Pakistan's role in decimating Al-Qaeda or its sacrifice of thousands of lives after joining America's war on terror. United States blaming Pakistan for failures in Afghanistan unfair, says Azaz Chowdhury. Pakistan's ambassador to the United States, Azaz Ahmed Chaudhry, on Sunday said Pakistan's relationship with China and the US has great importance, reiterating that Pakistan has always cooperated with the US in the war against terrorism. Azaz said that Pakistan had achieved immense success in war against terrorism. Instead of praising Pakistan's role, however, the US was blaming Pakistan for its failures in Afghanistan, which is unfair. He further said the country wants a peaceful Afghanistan and US should cooperate with Pakistan in this regard. Pakistan and US share similar stance to eliminate terrorism and restore peace in Afghanistan. Pakistan has been bearing the burden of more than 3.5 million Afghan refugees for 4 decades, and US should help us for their return to the homeland. Islamabad's 4 provincial capitals to get more National Assembly seats. In what would reflect the growing trend of rural populations' migration to urban areas, particularly to big cities, the federal and all the 4 provincial capitals are set to have increased share of National Assembly seats following the delimitation exercise in accordance with the provisional census results. Though Punjab's share is to go down from 148 to 141 out of the total 272 National Assembly seats, as many as 15 districts of the largest province will see either downward or upward change. A thorough district-wise analysis of the census statistics reveal, despite the loss of 7 seats in Punjab, Lahore's tally of seats is set to rise from 13 to 14, with its population standing at 11.12 million. Lahore's share comes to 14.26, which clearly means an additional seat. US cast a jaundiced eye towards Pakistan. The Pakistan Interfaith League said that the latest decision by the US to put Pakistan on its watch list aimed at monitoring the religious intolerance in the country is nothing short of stabbing a friend in the back. The PIL chairman Sajid Ishaq said that history is witness to the fact that Pakistan has always extended support to the US, and the 2 wars in the region which involved the US, one in Afghanistan against then USSR and the ongoing war on terror. Also in Afghanistan, Pakistan remained the main ally of the United States. Unfortunately, in both the adventures, the US ditched Pakistan at the end of the instead of appreciating the sacrifices offered by the Pakistani government as well as the Pakistani people. It turned hostile towards Pakistan, Sajid Ishaq said, but first suspending the military assistance to Pakistan despite the sacrifices and country and its people have extended in war on terror, and now putting Pakistan on a watch list to monitor religious intolerance in the country is nothing but a cruel step. He said that the situation of religious intolerance amongst the followers of different faiths is far better than in many countries. He pointed out that in India, the most populous country on earth, there is not a single day passes when a horrific incident of religious intolerance has not happened. In Kashmir, Indian Army has let loose worst form of state-sponsored terrorism against helpless Kashmiri Muslims who are only demanding their promised right to self-determination. In Myanmar, the Buddhists are mercilessly slaughtering helpless Rohingya Muslims. And in Israel, the Jewish forces are indiscriminately killing Palestinian Muslims, young and old, men and women. And these are a few facts to quote in response to the latest decision by the Trump-led US government to put Pakistan on this watch list, Sajid Ishaq pointed out. He also said that even inside the US there have been violent incidents of religious and racial intolerance. On the contrary, Sajid Ishaq stressed in Pakistan the situation of religious-based tolerance and acceptance in society is much greater than the other countries. The Sikhs or the Hindus, they are free to go to their respective religious places without any fear, the PIL chairman said. So much so, the followers of different religions are participating and celebrating each other's religious events and functions. The Prime Minister of Pakistan has attended the Hindu celebrations and the Pakistan Army Chief has attended the Christian celebrations. The Baha'i community has celebrated 200th birth anniversary of their spiritual leader all over the country, and those functions were participated by the followers of different faiths in Pakistan, including Muslims, Sajid Ishaq said. He said that this is the time for reckoning for Pakistan as well as for America. America should realize and acknowledge the support and sacrifices Pakistan is extended to the US, and Pakistan should take a pragmatic view of its relations with the US and instead of giving knee-jerk reaction should put its case based on facts and figures to wipe away the misunderstandings created between the two countries by those who are opposed to restoring lasting peace in this region, Sajid Ishaq said. Rugby's ex-mayor Sitara-e-Pakistan and patron-in-chief of the Pakistan Interfaith League, Dr. James Shera, said there is no denial of some disturbing and unfortunate incidents against minorities, but Pakistan is neither the only country in the context nor such incidents were a result of state policy but handiwork of handful mischievous people who exist in every society. Pakistan is changing. All the darkness of vice, intolerance, ignorance and violence is going to be replaced with light of religious tolerance, enlightenment and peace. PTI urges Supreme Court to take notice of Nawaz's diatribe. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf leader Ijaz Chowdhury has demanded that the Supreme Court of Pakistan should take notice of disqualified Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's attack on Pakistan's superior judiciary. Nawaz Sharif had failed to give any evidence so far that would prove his innocence, he said in a statement here on Sunday. He said Nawaz Sharif was now fearing his imprisonment. He said a visa was a permit to enter a country while Iqama entitled a person to do a job or business. He said the Sharif brothers have been exposed and would be held accountable for every penny they had squandered. He said Nawaz Sharif should restrain himself from putting country on the path of anarchy and internal confrontation. Shehbaz Sanaa woo peers, clerics as MPC deadline expires. Punjab Chief Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Law Minister Rana Sanaullah gave a fig to the demand for their resignations in connection with the Model Town tragedy as the January 7 deadline set for the purpose by the multi-party conference organized by the Pakistan Awami Tehreek expired on Sunday. The two leaders rather spoke at a conference of spiritual leaders here on Sunday, apparently as a counter-strategy against the likely anti-government campaigns of the PAT and Peer Hamiduddin Sialvi on the Khatb-e-Nabuwat issue. On the other hand, a meeting of PAT Central Core Committee held under Dr. Tahirul Qadri discussed various options available for its protest strategy. Pakistan People's Party turned Karachi into garbage dump. Federal Minister Mushahidullah. Federal Minister for Environment Senator Mushahidullah Khan has said that Karachi, whose identity used to be the city of light, is presenting the look of a garbage dump today due to the neglect by the PPP government. He was addressing a special meeting of the Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz local leaders at the Governor House here on the other day. Mr. Mushahid has been deputed by PMLN Chief Nawaz Sharif to streamline the party's organizational matters in Sindh. particularly in Karachi, by resolving differences among local party leaders and mobilizing workers. He recalled that after restoration of peace in Karachi, the federal government had given Rs 25 billion development package to improve infrastructure and facilities in the city. Its all efforts were to ensure completion of those projects, including the Green Line Metro bus service and K4 water projects, on time. Sindh names police chief to replace A.D. Khwaja. Sindh government has nominated Sardar Abdul Majid Dasti, an officer of the Police Service of Pakistan, for the post of Inspector General of Police, Sindh, replacing incumbent Aladino Khwaja. In October last year, the federal government had promoted Sardar Abdul Majid Dasti to Grade 22 prior to his promotion. Dasti was serving as Additional Inspector General under the command of IG Sindh Aladino Khwaja, who is now junior to Dasti. Dasti, whose services remain at the disposal of the Sindh government until further orders, is one of the most senior police officers of the Sindh police and has been a strong contender for the post of the Sindh IG. He has already served on various posts in the Sindh police as well as capital city police officer in Balochistan. Dasti was appointed acting IG by the provincial government in April last year after the Sindh government sent Khwaja packing without getting the approval of the federal government. Iran bans English in primary schools after leaders' warning. Iran has banned the teaching of English in primary schools, a senior education official said, after Islamic leaders warned that early learning of the language opened the way to a Western cultural invasion. Teaching English in government and non-government primary schools in the official curriculum is against laws and regulations, Mehdi Naveed Adam, head of the state-run Higher Education Council, told state television late on Saturday. This is because the assumption is that in primary education, the groundwork for the Iranian culture of the students is laid. Naveed Adam said, adding that non-curriculum English classes may also be blocked. The teaching of English usually starts in middle school in Iran around the ages of 12 to 14, but some primary schools below that age also have English classes. Merkel optimistic about end to political impasse. Chancellor Angela Merkel voiced optimism as she opened talks Sunday with Germany's second biggest party on restoring their alliance in a new attempt at shaking Europe's biggest economy out of political paralysis after September's inconclusive elections. The week of meetings between Merkel's Conservative Alliance and the Social Democrats will examine whether both sides have enough common ground to begin forming coalition negotiations towards a new government by March or April. I am going into these talks with optimism. At the same time, it is clear to me that we have an enormous amount of work in front of us over the next few days, but we are willing to take it on and to bring a good result, Merkel told journalists as she arrived at the SPD's headquarters for the meeting. Netanyahu calls for closure of UN Palestinian refugee agency. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday called for the closure of the United Nations Agency for Palestinian Refugees, days after US President Donald Trump threatened to cut Palestinian aid. Israel has long viewed the UN agency known as UNRWA as biased against it, an allegation the agency strongly denies, saying it is only providing necessary services to Palestinians. Israeli officials also criticized the agency's method of classifying refugees, with descendants also eligible to register. UNRWA is an organization that perpetuates the Palestinian refugee problem, Netanyahu said, while also lauding Trump at the beginning of his weekly cabinet meeting. Party of slain Saleh elects new chief. Political party of Yemen's former President Ali Abdullah Saleh, who was killed in December by his erstwhile Houthi rebel allies, on Sunday named his replacement. The General People's Congress, a key player in Yemeni politics for decades, elected former Deputy Premier Sadiq Amin Abu Ras by consensus at a meeting of its General Committee, it stated in a statement. It made no mention of the Houthis, but said it would continue to reject and resist aggression and siege against Yemen, a reference to a military campaign being waged since 2015 by a Saudi-led coalition. Abu Raz 65 is seen as having been close to Saleh, the long-time Yemeni strongman killed by Houthi gunmen on December 4 after the alliance collapsed. Saleh held power in the Arabian Peninsula country for 3 decades before being ousted in 2012 following mass protests. He later allied with his former enemies, the Iran-backed Houthis, to seize the capital in 2014 from the internationally backed government of President Abdur Rabbu Mansour Hadi. 32 go missing after oil tanker cargo ship collide off China. A tanker carrying oil from Iran to South Korea was ablaze and spilling its cargo off eastern China on Sunday after a collision with the cargo ship, which left 32 tanker crew members missing. The vessel carrying 136 tons of oil condensate caught fire after the collision on Saturday night, and its crew of 30 Iranians and 2 Bangladeshis are missing, China's transport ministry said. The other vessel had been damaged but without jeopardizing the safety of the ship, and all its 21 Chinese crew had been rescued, it added in a statement. Syria war. Explosion reportedly kills at least 23 in rebel-held Idlib. At least 23 people are reportedly dead and many more injured after a large explosion in the rebel-held city of Idlib in northwestern Syria. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said the blast struck the headquarters of a minor rebel faction. 7 of the dead are believed to be civilians. It is unclear what caused the blast in the city's Tel Aviv district. Some reports suggest it was a car bomb, while others say it was a drone attack. The observatory, which monitors Syria's civil war through a network of sources, said rescue teams were working to recover the dead and wounded from the damaged building and nearby houses. Cabinet reshuffle. Theresa May set to refresh top team. Theresa May is to reshuffle her cabinet on Monday, with a number of new faces expected to join her top team. Number 10 has described reports Education Secretary Justice Greening and Health Secretary Jeremy Hunt will be among those moved to all guessing. Philip Hammond, Boris Johnson, Amber Rudd and David Davis are among key figures expected to stay in place. Labour said Mrs. May should focus on the pressures in the NHS rather than what it said was a desperate PR exercise. And now the sports news. Pakistan looked to bounce back in second New Zealand one-day. Pakistan's winning run of 9 one-day internationals came to a shuddering halt in Wellington on Saturday, while New Zealand's home streak is climbing steadily towards the 12 they achieved across the 3 formats against Pakistan, Bangladesh and Australia last summer, after their 61-run win in the first ODI via the Duckworth-Lewis method. The Black Caps can extend their current streak to 9 with victory in Game 2 at the Saxton Oval in Nelson on Tuesday. The home team's first 7 wins were against West Indies on their forgettable 6-week sojourn, which also featured a 2020 washout. Pakistan were a step up and arrived with a swagger. Didn't play terribly but were blown off the basin reserved by a gale force southerly and a super confident home side. And now, the weather update for the next 24 hours. Mainly cold and dry weather is expected in most parts of the country. However, light rain thunderstorm with light snowfall over the hills is expected at a few places in Malakand, Makran Division, Gilgit-Baltistan and Upper Fatah. Foggy conditions are likely to prevail over few plain areas of Punjab and Upper Sindh during morning hours.
That's all for now. For more news and updates, keep watching HumSub.TV. Take care. Please subscribe to HumSub.TV and hit the notification icon on the screen to get the latest updates of our channel. Thank you for watching HumSub.TV.